Kia ora, tonight on City News. Rotorua District Council has started proceedings to recover $132,000 from ragamuffin promoter Andrew McManus. Rotorua Youth Centre is looking for musical talent to be part of the Rotorua Youth Centre Youth Band, and Whakarewa looks set to make the semis in the Baywide Premier Rugby competition. Rotorua District Council says a recent decision to consider releasing Andrew McManus Entertainment from the final year of a 5-year contract to stage Ragamuffin in Rotorua is subject to certain outstanding obligations being fulfilled. Interim CEO of Destination Rotorua Marketing Events and Venues, Mark Rawson, says one of those obligations includes a payment of $132,000 to Council, which currently remains outstanding. Mr Rawson says the Council is now implementing a process to recover the debt. He says no further comment can be made at this stage as it may prejudice the process. The Rotorua Youth Centre is looking for musical talent to be part of the Rotorua Youth Centre Youth Band. Holiday Program Coordinator Michelle King says the centre is looking to set up a resident band, and these school holidays they're holding auditions.
Yeah, we were looking for a Rotorua Youth Centre official band, so we've got band auditions coming up both Thursdays the 10th and the 17th between 12:30 and 4:30. We're looking to start up a whole band, cool. Get them so that Friday, Saturday nights down here at the youth centre they can just jam. There's an atmosphere going on. The youth that come in here to hang out have something to groove to pretty much.
Rotorua Little Theatre has opened their new play at Shambles Theatre. God of Carnage is a black comedy originally written in French. Director Richard Rugg says the local production has a twist on the original play and says the audience can expect a surprisingly fun night.
Okay, well, it's about two boys who get into a playground fight. One of them hits the other one with a stick in the mouth, doing some damage to the teeth. But more than that, it's about the two parents coming together and trying to have a discussion to resolve the boys' issues. And that's about the problems that come up out of that.
Yeah. So why did the boy hit his mate in the face anyway?
I suppose it's not really giving too much away to say that he wouldn't let him join his gang.
So there's bullying, gangs, physical abuse and arguing. And
arguing, yep. Yeah, some very infantile behaviour goes on in the show, yeah. A good round family entertainment.
Local youngsters got the chance to try their hand at trout fishing yesterday at the annual Fish and Game Kids Fish Out Day. The Kids Fish Out is aimed at children aged between 6 and 14 years. Fish and Game Officer Mark Sherbin says kids are guaranteed to catch a rainbow trout that they can take home and cook for dinner.
There we go. We've got it. Oh, you go.
In sport tonight, in Baywide's rugby premier competition, Whakarewa have moved up to 4th place on the points table after a 50-5 win against Rangauru on Saturday. Whakarewa are 1 point behind Tauranga and Mount Maunganui and 4 points behind competition leaders Te Puke. With one more week of the competition left in the season before the semis, Whakarewa stand a good chance of playing this year as the top 4 will move into the semi-finals. Rotorua, however, took a hiding 68-7 when playing top of the table Te Puke on Saturday. Rotorua are currently 6th on the points table. To your weather update now. Tonight will be fine with light easterlies and an overnight low of 2. For tomorrow, Tuesday, increasing high cloud, easterlies, a high of 11 and a low of 7. And the outlook for Wednesday, thick high cloud, strong gusty easterlies, a high of 9 and a low of 2. In the marine forecast for Lake Rotorua, easterly 10 knots easing to variable 5 knots for a time during the morning and then rising to 15 knots in the afternoon with waves half a metre or less, and there'll be high cloud thickening with fair visibility and showers, some may be heavy and thundery. Remember, for program listings or to watch City News again, visit our website tvrotorua.co.nz, or you can see updates on our TV Rotorua Facebook page. Still to come in the show tonight, we visit the museum to preview the Phantom City and War Stories exhibitions, and we cover last week's Rotorua drama and speech competition.
Well, we're down here at the Rotorua Museum today, and I'm catching up with Carl Chittum, who's the curator down here, because there's a brand new exhibition that is actually really quite intriguing. So, Carl, good to see you again.
You too.
Now, this new exhibition is called Phantom City,
Yep.
and when I walked in the door, I was absolutely blown away, and I think you guys done a pretty good job for this show.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been a really interesting project because, as you said when you came in, a lot of people won't know what to expect from an art show, particularly contemporary art. So I've chosen works that are really intriguing, or they've got sound, or they've got made from different materials, so that people actually get drawn into each work.
Yeah, and like we just walked in the door and we're just spellbound by the very first work,
Yep.
which we'll be able to show our viewers. But just give us an idea of what's down here.
Okay, so there's 9 artists in the exhibition, and each one's been chosen because their work kind of demonstrates this idea of a phantom city. So it's not necessarily all about cities, but it's about the places where people have lived, or might live in the future, or might have lived in a different kind of past. So some of it's made up, some of it's based on real life, and some stuff is kind of projecting into the future. So the work that you saw was by Yang Yong Liang, hopefully I've pronounced that properly, who's based in China, and I came across his work a couple of years ago. And he's done a moving image work which is based on photography as well, and it's based on the old Chinese brush paintings. But when you go into the work, it's quite amazing because people start walking around, you see traffic, you see waterfalls, and then there's the weather that comes in with it as well.
Now, if you guys come down and have a look, try and find the man on the tightrope in that moving image, because it's quite amazing what actually happens in this whole picture, because you see real life people walking around,
Yeah.
but yet in the background there's digital imaging.
Yeah, totally. And we're not going to give it away about the tightrope man, but come down and have a look.
Yeah. So who else you got down here? Obviously you got Superman just beside you.
So this work here is by Peter Gibson Smith, who's an Auckland-based artist, and we've got 2 works by him. And both of them kind of look at that idea of if you go to a place like Rome or Athens or somewhere like that, you see all these sculptures that have been left by past civilizations.
It looks very Greek, doesn't it?
It does, but he's playing off popular culture, so this is Superman next to us, Superman's head, and then he's got another work in the show which is based on the Tarawera eruption, a photo from the Tarawera eruption which uncovered a giant gorilla head. So he's kind of playing with history a little bit.
Now if you have a close look up to Superman here, it's got silver ferns on the top by the looks of it. What's it made out of, and how did he actually do all the different shading?
So his practice is quite interesting. He does a lot of handmade stuff. He's really about process. So this work here is actually made of paper, and all the images on it have actually been drawn by hand with pencil, and then he's put a layer of wax over the top of it. So although it looks like it's made from stone, from a distance, it's actually made from paper and cardboard.
And then when you get up close you can see the bushes and the silver ferns.
Yeah, so it's got all this imagery over the top of it as well, which is all about the New Zealand landscape.
Now I don't know if our viewers at home can hear, but there's some eerie music in behind us, a little bit of a horror show going on.
Yeah, there is. So that work that's playing at the moment is Gregory Bennett, who's a digital artist, and he shows his work all around the world. And he produces these sort of computer environments, I guess, which have people in them, and they have plants and weird creatures, but they also have a lot of built structures. So as it kind of moves through, it becomes really eerie because you see everything kind of changing as it goes. He's really interested in that idea of how computer-generated environments might change over time.
Do you think that the lack of lighting in here adds to the show?
Totally. The whole idea is to kind of create a really dramatic effect. And a lot of the works kind of bounce off that idea as well, because even though each work kind of draws you in, there's not a huge number of works here, so you've really got to spend time with each one.
Yeah. And there's one just behind us that when you look at it first glance, it looks like chassis and parts of cars, but on closer inspection, it's far from that.
It is. So there's a work by Judy Darrow, which is called Stainless, and it's made up of a whole lot of, I call them vessels, like they look a little bit like spaceships, a big fleet of spaceships, and she's collected stuff from op shops, from second-hand shops, from garage sales, and it's all made of these stainless steel items you find in the kitchen, like colanders and plates and all sorts of things.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? Now, just before we go, Carl, there's also some interactive pieces as well.
There's a really amazing work by Shannon Novak, whose career is really on the up at the moment, and he's made some virtual works. So you'll need a mobile device with data to access the works, but they actually help you move around the museum because they're not in the gallery, they're actually out in the other spaces in the museum.
Cool. Now, just before we go, how long is Phantom City here for?
Phantom City is on until September. There's also a project space which is running alongside it, which kids are welcome to come in and rearrange their own city and make their own Phantom City, and there's a whole bunch of workshops that go with that. So if people want to know about that, they're running all through the holidays.
Cool. And when they come in, they can pick up one of these and get some more information?
Yep. So there's a guide free to everyone.
All right, Carl.
Yep.
Appreciate your time. Thank you, mate.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, we're still down here at the museum and continuing our stories about the new exhibits that are on show down here. And the next one we're going to be chatting about is about World War I. With me today is Chris Berkeley, who is the creator of the World War I exhibit. Thanks for joining us again, Chris. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, likewise.
Now, we just chatted with Carl about the Phantom City. Absolutely amazing exhibit.
Yeah, it's terrific.
But now we're going to change gears a little bit because this is a little bit more closer to home.
Yes, it is. Yes, yeah, it's very much focused on the Rotorua stories and what have you. Yes.
So that just opened yesterday.
It did, that's right.
And how long is it here for?
It's here until November the 2nd, so we've got a really good stretch of time for people to come down and have a look around.
Now, some people at home may not realise that it's been 100 years since World War I.
That's right.
1914.
1914, yes.
Yeah.
So
what's in here?
we've got, a wide range of items really. What we did back at the beginning of the year is we appealed to the Rotorua people about what stories and what items they had, which we could actually put on display, and the response was terrific. So we selected 10 stories from all those offers, and we've written up those stories and put those objects on display so people can come and see them and just interact with these amazing items we've got. And then also we've got information on the grand sweep of the war, so you get the personal stories, but also if you're wanting the big picture, you can also come down and find out about World War I as a whole, as it were.
We're pretty surprised about the response from the Rotorua public.
I was a little bit nervous to begin with. I thought, I wonder what's out there, and then when just people kept on coming in with all these items, I guess I was surprised. I was over the moon, really. It was fantastic. You never knew what you were going to get come through the door, so it was a wee bit, for a guy like myself who's into military history, it was terrific. I had a great time doing that.
Now, with all these different items and memorabilia coming in, there obviously has to be some stories that go along with them as well.
Oh, they're amazing stories. Yeah, there's been some really terrific stories. Some tragic stories, obviously, because that's the nature of what we're talking about, but there's been some really just the personal stories, because these wars, we think about the big battles and we think about the overall sweep, but the war was fought by individuals, and it was experienced by individuals on the battlefield and at home. And so there's been some really terrific little stories come through the doors, which were surprising to me. We had a gentleman come in who had the logbook of his father who flew airships against submarines during World War I. I didn't know anything about that, so he came in and showed me the logbook, which has got all these flights and the orders and his medals and the wings he wore as a pilot in the Navy. Just it blows you away. Yeah.
So there's obviously a lot of emotion with these stories, because I know when I investigated my grandfather's efforts in the war and came across his medals, and I finally got hold of these medals, there's a lot of emotion involved in this, even though you're not directly involved in the war.
Yes, there is. It's like everybody has a lineage back to World War I. It was that big an event that I bet everybody out there in the community's actually got a connection. And when you make that connection and you start putting yourself in the shoes of those people back then, you can't help but have an emotional reaction and go back and think, my goodness, how did they survive that? The emotional upheaval of it all, and if they lost family, or those, it
blows you away.
Blows you away. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, it's amazing how you said, because there's so many different people involved, because 3 out of 5 Kiwis that went to war either got killed or wounded.
That's correct.
So that's a huge amount of numbers, really, isn't it?
It is, and the tragedy of it is that we'll never know what those guys could have achieved. We'll never know the price that New Zealand paid, because we had a generation which was, I wouldn't say wiped out, but it was absolutely pulled, it was knocked around completely by
marred by history.
Yeah, marred by history, and the psychological effects of the guys who came back as well, from what they had experienced. They never probably lived their lives to the fullest either. So New Zealand paid a massive price, and we'll never really know how big it was.
Do you think people will still feel and engage with that emotion when they come here to this exhibit?
I definitely hope so. As the curator of the exhibition, I was often really touched on an emotional level, and the objects that we've got here, they cut right to the bone, some of them, because you're looking at history and you're looking at personal items. That's the thing that we've got here. We've got some real personal items that chaps carried with them in their pockets or what have you, and those are the ones that really just get you right there. You can't
Let's
help it.
chat about some of those articles and objects, because right behind you is a bugle. Now that's the heart of any army story, really.
It is, and it's an incredible bugle. That was with a trumpeter who carried it with him right through World War One. So it was at Gallipoli, and then it was right through the Western Front. And actually, the chap who played it was in the celebrations in London, and he in his rejoicing of peace, the peace celebrations in London he was at, in his rejoicing of peace, he threw it up in the air and lost it. Now the amazing thing is, though, this is one of his twists of history, is that it was actually picked up by a Kiwi who sort of thought, well, wait a minute, who does this belong to? Found out who it was and gave it to Johnson's sister back in New Zealand.
Wow, that is amazing.
So it was lost in London, travelled halfway around the world again, and got returned to him after the war. That's a real amazing coincidence.
Any other items out there that will pick up the interest of the public?
Definitely. There's some real unique items in here. We've got a photograph album from a mounted rifleman who these guys were fighting on horseback in the Middle East. And the photograph album's got unique photos in it, personal photos that have never seen the light of day in a public sense. And so when the chap came in, who loaned that to us for the exhibition, came in and put it down in front of me, I was just blown away. You're looking at history, and you're looking at something nobody else has really seen before, and that's just amazing. I didn't expect that to happen.
We're almost out of time, and I'll tell you what, make sure you guys come down, because it is an amazing exhibit. And
thank you very much.
Just next door is Phantom City, so...
See both of them, yeah, for sure.
Right. Chris, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's always encouraging to cover events that motivate and challenge our young people, especially when it comes to things like self-confidence. Now, today we're down here at the Rotorua Energy Event Centre, and we're going to find out exactly what those challenges are. Hi Carmel, welcome to City News today. Now, we're down here at the Rotorua Convention Centre, and there's lots of kids running around with big smiles on their face, all dressed up in costumes, but why are they here?
They're here for the local Rotorua competitions, speech and drama competitions, which is held, this is the 68th year it's been held.
Wow, 68 years, that's awesome.
Yep.
And what sort of age groups are we looking at? Are they from all different schools around the city?
Yeah, they run mainly Rotorua children aging from about 5 to 18-year-olds.
Wow, so
but
it's a whole lot.
Yep, we have some from Whakatane and Taupo as well.
Oh, yeah, so it's not just here in Rotorua, it's around the wider region.
Mainly Rotorua, but we do have some teachers that bring their children to this competition.
So what sort of things are they doing on stage? Obviously it's to do with speech and drama, but would nail it down to the specifics.
So they do impromptu talks, own selection poems, where they select a poem and they read it in front of their classmates, group dramas, and Bible readings.
Wow.
A range of different things.
And how's the talent been today? Obviously some stiff competition out there.
Oh, fantastic actually. The seniors have been really strong. A great number of boys performing, which is fantastic. And one of our boys was the Performer of the Year.
Wow. Now just behind us, the ladies are sorting out the trophies. There's a huge amount of awards up there, so there's obviously plenty of things to win.
Yep, there is. There's trophies for every category that we've got. So, and the kids are really excited about getting a trophy. So they're always checking the board to see what their points are to make sure they're maybe be a trophy winner.
How important is speech and drama to our young people?
Oh, it's an asset that if they learn it, because it gives them the confidence to speak in public, something that we didn't have as children. So we want to pass that on to our children.
Now, obviously, you got your own kids involved. What sort of things will they be performing?
Well, I've got a 16-year-old, and she's performing in lots of characterisation type things, and she dresses up and pretends she's in character. She also selects poems and then group dramas. Then I've got 20-year-old boys, and they like to try anything. They love their group drama and improvisations, and they've also done own selection poems.
Cool. Now, we're going to go and film some of them, so
Great.
What time's your son on?
He's on at 1:30 upstairs.
All right, cool. We'll film that one. Nice.
Okay.
Thanks, Carmel.
Great, thanks.
Hi, Jane. Now, you're one of the conveners here at the speech and drama competition. What does that involve?
Well, Carmel and I share the role. We are responsible for attracting all the funding and getting the adjudicators, getting the venue, collecting all the entries, making up the program. And we've got a great committee that help us when it comes to the event to put it all on. So.
Now, I mentioned to Carmen there's lots of different kids running around in costumes. They're having a great day. This is an awesome opportunity for them to grow their confidence and obviously improve their speech and drama skills.
Yeah, that's right. They, for my kids, it's been a bit of a highlight. They do speech and drama lessons all through the year, and they love the competitions. It's a chance to get up on stage, but it's also really social. Yeah.
Have you had a chance yourself to watch any of the performers?
Yeah, I would definitely try and watch my own kids. We've just got one child in it, but yeah, I definitely try and watch everything that she's in.
Now, obviously this is a 3-day competition, but how many kids have you had through in the last couple of days?
There's about 225 kids. They each can enter up to 6 events, and so we have about 850, 900 pieces that we all have to timetable over the 3 days.
So a busy time for you guys, eh?
Yeah, it is a busy time. It's good fun. It's a real highlight, the weekend. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned you got your daughter performing. What sort of work has she had to put in over the year to be able to even get up on stage and perform?
During the year she goes to speech lessons every week, but to get herself up on the stage there's quite a lot of preparation, particularly in the 4 or 5 weeks beforehand. There's the practising the words and getting that off by heart, but also collecting the costumes and raiding everyone's wardrobes to get the right bits and pieces and
Does it
things.
make you pretty proud when she's up there?
Yeah, really proud. Yeah, she does a great job.
Cool.
Yeah.
One of the things I like about this sort of competition is that it builds up the confidence of these young people, because I do find, especially being out in our job, that we meet a lot of young people who are a little bit hesitant about speaking. But I guess with this sort of thing, it just totally builds up their confidence.
Yeah, I think that's really real. I mean, it's not for everyone, but I think it gives them lots of good skills. And like I said to you before, I've got a son that's finished, and I think, if they have to present something, they don't have to worry too much about the presentation, because they've got the grassroots skills, the basic skills.
Now, we've already gone and seen a couple of kids, and they get right into character, don't they? They really, really give it all their all.
Yeah, that's really important. It's not just saying the words, but it's making the audience believe that they are that character, and you can feel like they're really involved in the whole lot. Yeah.
Now, down the front of the stage there's a couple of judges. What sort of things are they looking for?
Oh, lots of things. Making sure they get the words right is just one thing. It's the movement in the across the stage. It's connection with the audience. You probably need to ask them that question, because we're always surprised at the results. They are looking for lots. It's very detailed of what they're looking for. Yeah.
Right, good stuff. Appreciate your time. Thanks, Jane.
Thank you.
That was convener Jane Spence speaking with Alan Solomon. Don't forget, if you have any news to share with us, give the station a call on 07 3488 984 or email news@tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for watching tonight. From all the team at City News, Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.